friends, I am Payal, your own IELTS and study abroad expert. तो बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स हमारे पास आते हैं जिनका एक सपना है कनाडा में सेटल होना। तो जब वो हमारे पास IELTS की जनरल ट्रेनिंग लेते हैं, so through that they are aspiring to seek permanent residency in Canada. So let's talk about some interesting points on what is actually needed to build up a profile if you want to get PR in Canada. So in this video, you're going to have some key takeaways. We're going to tell you about the Canada Express entry system. We would also discuss what is CRS score, and we would also cover what is a decent CRS score with which you can apply. And suppose there are two students with the same CRS score, then what really happens with that tiebreaker? So we're going to discuss all these questions as we go forward in the video. So stay with us till the end, and I'm sure you're really going to get a lot of useful information. You're going to get a lot of clarity regarding the immigration process. So what is Canada Express entry system? So Canada has one of the most advanced immigration systems in the world for express entry. So launched in 2015, this express entry system was designed by Canadian authorities to better align the skills of the immigrant in line with the need of the labor market. Then this express entry system is an electronic system which manages the applications which are submitted by the skilled and qualified immigrants across the world. And on what basis are these applications submitted or picked up? So there is something like CRS score, which we're going to take it forward a little later. So when the applications are submitted in the pool, every application has a CRS score. So based on these CRS scores, some applications are picked up by the government, by the federal government, and they get the invitation to apply, which is ITA, which going forward, helps them to get the permanent residency in Canada. So how are these CRS scores, calculated? So that's based on the candidate's profile. So now let's try to understand what is CRS score. So CRS, full form is Comprehensive Ranking System. So CRS Comprehensive Ranking System is a point system that is used to rank the applications which are submitted by immigrants for the Canada Express entry. So this Canada Express entries is the fastest way through which the skilled immigrants can submit their profiles every year. And based on the CRS score, these applications are ranked, and higher the CRS score, the possibilities of getting the invitation to apply ITA increases a lot. So let's try to understand how these CRS points are calculated. So CRS points are calculated on the basis of your education, experience, your skill transferability, your scores in your English proficiency test, or any other language skills. It could be English or French. So all these points are added, and that makes your CRS score. So the total points you have, the maximum points that you have for CRS is 1200, and if you get something like a 468 or 472 plus, it's an okay score. But usually for application to be picked up, it should be higher than 500 score, and higher the score, the chances of getting ITA definitely increases. So the first important factor is the core or human capital factor. So you get your points from your age, from your education and experience. So if the spouse is immigrating with you, then you could get something like 460, but if you're going there alone and your age is less, then you can get something like 500 points as well. From age, you can get maximum 100 points, up to 100 points if you're going with a spouse. And if you're not going with the spouse and you're between 20 to 29 years, then you could get 110 points. But if your age is more than 45 or less than 17, you get 0 points. So after the age of 30, your points that you get from the age, they start reducing. So the next important parameter is the education, from where you can get up to 140 points. So if you've done your bachelor, you will get less, but if you've done your master's as well, then you will get extra points of master's. So it's always preferred that you are young and you've done your master's and you get a very good score in your language exams. So then express entry procedure becomes very easy. Then you can get up to 128 points from your English proficiency exams, and you could get about 22 points from the second language skills, so which could be French. Then if you have done your education from Canada, you could get up to 70 points. But if you are without this spouse, you could get up to 80 points if you've studied in Canada. So there are two official languages in Canada, which is English and French. To clear, to get the points from the English, proficiency skills, you should write IELTS, general training. And to get, points from your second language, which is French, and you could get up to, 22 points as I just discussed, you should write, TCF or TEF, Canada exam. And then if you have a spouse, you could get additional 40 points. You would get 10 points for the education of the spouse. You would get up to 20 points if they get a good score in their English language exams, and then up to 10 points if they have studied in Canada, or if they have experience in the Canadian job market, so they could get extra points. You could get additional 40 points, which your spouse can take it, because if you're the primary applicant, your spouse is going to be your co-applicant. So the next important factor which is included while the CRS scores are being calculated is the skill transferability factor. So this is basically, this measures the combination of the skills and the experience that you have, whether you've been able to work in the same domain that you did your education in, whether you're able to combine the skills and have productive experience. So you could get up to 100 points. So those 100 points are up for the grab. That would really help to boost your profile, get a higher CRS score. So there are other ways to get additional points as well. If you have a sibling who lives in Canada, you could easily get up to 15 points, 15 points. But that should be your immediate relation, like brother or sister. Then if you have if you have an employment letter from a Canadian employer, you could easily get up to 200 points, which is a lot. That will increase your CRS score a lot. Then if you've learned French and you've cleared all the advanced levels, you could get up to 50 points. In fact, there are few states like Quebec, which is a French-speaking nation, which really invites a lot of people who know French, because they want to promote this language, and they want more and more people to learn this language and communicate with each other. So if you've done your post-secondary education in Canada, you could get up to 30 points. So the cutoff of the CRS score depends on the from draw to draw, and it depends on the kind of applications which are being received. So the cutoff would vary from one draw to another. If they have a lot of applications with high scores, they would increase the cutoff, which means for your application to be picked up, your CRS score should be above the cutoff, or at least the cutoff. And the higher the score above the cutoff, the chances of getting picked up for an ITA becomes very high. Now, one last question that we would like to answer, as we promised in the beginning, is what if there are two people with the same, CRS score? How are they going to be picked up? So that depends on the date and the time of submission. So there are two profiles which are very similar and the same CRS score. Then the Canadian government is going to check the time and the date of the submission and accordingly decide which one to pick up. So if 5,000 applications have to be picked up and 4,999 have been picked up and one is left and there are two profiles which are similar, then that's called a tiebreaker. And as I just said, based on the time and the date of submission, the profile is going to be picked up. So as we know, the four popular destinations where most of the immigrants want to go are Ontario, British Columbia, Quebec, and Alberta. And in 2020, there were only 1 lakh, few thousand, ITAs which were issued. But post-pandemic, the numbers have increased drastically because the demands are huge. So in 2023, it's estimated that around 4.5 lakh, ITAs are going to be issued, and the numbers are increasing. So as I just mentioned, that higher the CRS score that you get, higher are the chances to get an ITA and apply for the permanent residency program. So, and one of the good ways to get a good score is to get a good IELTS score. So we train the students to get a good IELTS score and realize their dream. Most of the time, the requirement that a student would need would be an 8,777, which is 8 in listening and reading, writing and speaking 7 minimum. And the higher you get, the more number of points you get. So that's one of the brilliant ways to improve your CRS score. So reach out to us. We would help you with the entire training and we'll help you fulfill all your dreams without any hurdle. So I hope you enjoyed the video and you got a lot of insights and information on the entire immigration process, and you got a lot of clarity on a lot of terminology which is being regularly used around you, like CRS score, Canada Express entry, etc. So I hope it was very useful. If you want us to make a video on any topic, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section. Please share this video with everyone and like this video as well. And we're looking forward to get connected to you. So if you haven't subscribed to us till now, subscribe to us right now. And we would give you a lot of interesting information that will help you fulfill your international dreams. Thank you.